Welcome to Mooreology³, where three sisters discuss their unique perspectives on a topic. If you are a returning listener or a new one, thank you for being here with us. We would greatly appreciate if you would hit that button to like, share, or subscribe. Now to our conversation.
Welcome back to Mooreology³, where me and my sisters, Stephanie and Angie, and myself talk or learn more about topics. I can't. Okay.
Okay, let's start
Look at
over.
this. Look at this dog. Okay. Look at
Like,
this.
here's a toy.
I'm like, get away from me. Look at her stubs wagging.
She's like, I'm happy, Mama.
I know. I'm like, no, we're not playing right now.
Mama's heavy.
And she's doing that Shabaka thing.
Yeah.
Chewbacca. What are you doing, Chewbacca?
She's like, oh my God.
Oh,
No,
Lord.
I'm not. And of course, she's.
Please, please, Mama.
Just throw it for her. Just keep throwing it. Don't forget, start over and do the
I'm
claps
trying to talk,
first,
and she is like putting that thing on the computer.
Well, Jennifer's not doing her OBS, so it'll be okay. I'll figure out how to get it lined once I learn OBS or once I learn that other program. I'm getting there.
It's OBS, yeah.
All right, now my dog's barking.
Okay.
Hold on
You
just
ready?
a second. No. Wait a second. Hey, Poppy, go lay down. Sorry, she's all barking a storm up.
All right.
Hey, come lay down, please. We're trying to start our thing. It's done. It's over. Come here. Come here.
That's what Jennifer's trying to say to the dog. It's done. It's over. Go lay down.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, I know.
Hey.
I'm like, oh my God.
Come get your puppy toy. Papa, come get your toy. Oh, somebody closed their door.
All right. Are you ready?
Let's do it. We got this.
Okay. Welcome back to Mooreology³, where me and my sisters, Stephanie and Angie, learn more about topics of the day and have a lively and interesting discussion, sharing our thoughts on the topic. Today's topic is cosmic rays. After looking at the third release of the UFO or UAPs from the US government last week, I read that that scientists like Neil deGrasse suggested that many of the photos released were more than likely the result of cosmic rays. Now, I'm not very good with physics and space. They're definitely not my strong suit. And if I'm being honest, when I was reading it, I'm like, what the hell is a cosmic ray? So we decided that it might be a good idea to kind of talk about cosmic rays and maybe learn a little bit more about them so that, our thoughts on the topic of these photos might be a little more like developed or accurate or informed, maybe. So,
absolutely. Well, I will share this picture so that everybody can see what a cosmic ray might look like.
well, Stephanie's sharing that.
There we go.
Apparently, these things were discovered in like 1912 by Victor Hess.
What do we see?
That says your AI note taker?
No, that's not what we want.
Oh, there's a scientist thing.
Down.
Did you see a scientist thing? Hold on.
Yeah, but I see a whole lot of other stuff too.
Hold on, that one goes down.
We've got to get better at this.
You know what? I told you it's like this crazy thing that's going on. Let's get rid of this one. Let's get rid of this one. All I can tell you people is I did my research this week. Yeah. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see it now. Perfect. Thank you, Stephanie.
Now
Wow.
you can see the pretty
Beautiful.
picture, right? So,
Yeah.
um, I'm with you, Jennifer. When you talked about cosmic rays, in my head, I was thinking there was some sort of ray that was trying to take people out. That's was my vision of it. Like, what kind of rays are they trying to put up in the sky to kill
Okay,
people?
I just have to say a lot of the videos back, let's say New Jersey, but even other ones that I have seen look very similar to this. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Have you guys seen any of the like UFO, UAP,
Hmm.
whatever? Like videos will be like a kind of like ball of light. Sometimes they say maybe it's plasma, but that reminds me a lot of it. Now, again, I don't know that it's like that or if it's,
Well,
Almost.
constant, like
here.
thousands of those. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Like here, like right now, okay, like the Earth is constantly being bombarded by these cosmic rays, right? And so, and they're just basically high energy particles that are coming, hitting the Earth. Like there's like what, 50 million rays per day is what they estimate are hitting the Earth every single day. Okay. So there's a lot of them. And, so these high energy particles that when they hit like the atmosphere, it absorbs a lot of the radiation that is associated with these. Okay. And so, um, we don't, they may or may not look exactly the same, but apparently when you go up in the mountains, when you're taking pictures, you can see these rays sometimes in the pictures that you take.
Well, there's been video on places like Brown Mountain where they keep seeing these like anomalous like lights up in the mountain. And I think other mountains too, but um it's interesting that you see these like lights up in the mountains, and these are these kind of like high energy particles. I don't know, that's just so weird. I don't know that they're
It
the same
is.
thing by any
Well,
means, but
here's where it gets weirder, Angie. So you know
yeah.
how they were talking about like the Apollo astronauts, how they were seeing flashes of lights and things like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So those are cosmic rays that they're seeing. They have like special helmets to help them detect them. But here's the nutty part. Even when you close your eyes, you can still see those
Mm,
rays. And they theorize they don't even know for sure like why it's happening, but what they theorize is that it's somehow that the cosmic rays are like particles are going through the eye
wow.
and hitting the retina in a way. So like your eyes are closed, but it's passing through your eyes, even though your eyes are closed and hitting your retina. And so there's like a couple different theories on like how it's doing that, but basically it makes me think, how they talk, like people talk about like, the aliens took them over and things like that. Well, these particles are running through your body, and while we're on the earth, that's, we're fairly safe. But here's the other thing: the particles, like especially as you get into outer space, there's a lot more radiation, and they actually can augment your DNA.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's crazy stuff. Yeah.
Well, and that's the cool thing, though. And I say cool. I think it's cool in the sense that you're talking about this, and you're right. There's a lot of like scientists are trying to truly figure out a lot of things with it. Um, and at first they thought they were just like these rays, but what they found out is they're actually high energy particles. And mostly what they're thinking is that they're obviously protons and heavy ions. And the thing is that, I mean, obviously we have these all around us, but the crazy part is that these particular, the ones that they're talking about with the cosmic rays are galactic, which means they come from someplace like millions of years away from us. And
Yeah.
so they're traveling at basically the speed of light.
Yeah, like 30 billion miles away from like, and they believe they're so you have primary and secondary arrays. Okay, so they kind
Hmm.
of bucket it into that. So your primary ones are the ones that are in outer space, and your secondary ones are the ones that have come through the Earth's atmosphere.
Correct. Yep.
Then the the primary ones get kind of bucketed into like three different groupings, right? So you have your your solar rays, which it's kind of showing the
Right.
here, right? So think of those like BBs, okay? And then you
Yeah.
have galactic rays, and they're more like a gun shot, right?
Wow.
And then you have ultra high energy rays, and those are more like a missile. And so when you get out into the further out into outer space, though when those rays hit humans or or any type of computer or mechanical object, they wreak havoc on them because
Yes.
because of the amount of radiation associated with them. So it's kind of interesting. And
Uh,
again, they don't even really know for sure like where these come from. They just have a theory that they come from things like supernovas and suns
Or black
outside
holes,
of, yep, or a black hole, but that's all
which we don't understand
theoretical.
at all. We don't
Right,
understand black holes at all.
right, but that's all theoretical.
Hmm.
Okay.
right.
um so they don't even really know that. All they know is that they've proved that these things exist. And one of the things they talked about was like on the Apollo 13, like the helmets, they could see physical evidence of the helmet like being dented like at a micro fracture like level
Yeah.
where these rays had hit and come across like the astronauts.
Hmm.
Well, and that's the big question because, as like we were talking about the whole things of like, obviously, last episode or the last thing that we did and talked about was about aliens and stuff like that. But the idea that humans want to basically um, go further out into the deep space and maybe go to Mars or go
Mm-hmm.
further than Mars, and things like that. This is a big concern because right now, like you're saying, scientists don't fully understand these cosmic rays, the particles, how they're going through our body, what type of like harm it's doing to our body, because obviously it's augmenting our DNA. And then the other part is, at what amount of exposure, because obviously human bodies, because we know that it's some sort of radiation type stuff. Um, human bodies aren't created to handle high dosages of radiation. And the only
Right.
reason we don't have, and this is something that if, maybe other, like some of our audience might understand more, but if you don't understand it, which I found totally fascinating is that the Earth has the atmosphere and it also has the magnetosphere, which means the magnetic field that's around the Earth that actually protects us mostly and gets rid of these particular cosmic rays so that we have not many that come through our atmosphere and come down. And so I had to go back and look because I was thinking to myself, okay, so why are the people on the International Space Center or Space Station, why aren't they like being, pelted with these and having major radiation issues? And what I found out is that it's because the International Space Station is not in deep space. It's actually still somewhat in our magnetic field.
Yeah,
And
I
so
think you
therefore,
in your little diagram, Stephanie, I think it's
Yeah.
sitting between the two, like the red and the blue space, like
Okay.
down here on where it says Van Allen's belt. So
Yeah.
you
Yes.
see how the Earth's there, and then there's the
Yeah, down
blue,
at
and then
the little picture down at the bottom to
yep,
the far
Yeah.
right.
and it's because it's sitting between those two groupings.
Yeah, between the blue and the red. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're safe in that. And well, I wouldn't say safe, but they're safer
Right.
Yes.
in those areas. But that's the
Whereas
thing. Artemis
Apollo,
2.
yeah,
Well, where did Apollo go? Well, Artemis 2 that just did
Apollo
their
went to the
path did it.
moon.
Yeah. And Artemis 2 just went to around the moon.
Yeah.
So I can imagine what the kind of things
Were
that
there
what kind of
people
testing they're doing.
on that one? Yeah.
Four. Four.
Yeah.
And they're planning on doing another one within the next year or two. So they're doing
Mm.
another mission. Again, they're going back out, and the idea is to circle the moon again to get more like research. But the idea is to eventually land back on the moon. That is their plan. The United States NASA right now is that they want to do like about every 2 years, there's going to be a mission that goes up into deep space to
Mm.
Yeah.
gather more research on what, what's out there, more research on the effects on human bodies and all that kind of stuff. So
Well,
that,
there's obviously a serious effect on human bodies in more than one way, beyond, just cosmic rays, the fact that there isn't just oxygen for people to breathe. So there's, major factors that make it difficult for us to just be out in space. We're not
Oh,
physically
yeah.
capable of just being in space. We have to have all these things in place.
To be
Uh,
in there. But they're
yeah,
looking at like how can they shield astronauts?
yeah.
Because the
I think
idea is
both
to
of
go
us
to
kind of looked at
Mars.
that up too. We were looking at like material, to, and the different, research they're doing to make sure to help, really make it safer for astronauts, like new, like suits and things. Obviously, Stephanie and I kind of before you jumped on were just briefly talking about some of this, but like hydrogen and water, like how well, and water is, you know, H2O, so two hydrogens and oxygen. So
Yes.
obviously hydrogen is one of the most important things in order to keep those rays from going within you, but creating a suit that is, safe enough that doesn't, currently they have, like water being distributed through that spacesuit. And obviously that's a lot. So I know that they're doing research on better like suits for them to be wearing in space that
well,
Yeah.
that's one of them.
incorporates hydrogen.
I
But
was
if
going to
they're
say
going to
that.
go on a long range, like let's say they're
Yep.
going to Mars, you know,
Yeah.
so one of the things I was reading is the travel into deep space. There's a lot of research that's going on to figure out, can we simulate the Earth um, magnetosphere? And so, can you see this other article?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this other article was talking about, and let me go to the top. It's an article, could artificial magnetic fields shield spacecrafts from cosmic radiation, which is basically the
Cosmic rays.
cosmic rays. And so this guy theorizes, yes, it is possible, but he's saying it's very experimental in design right now. Like we're doing some things, but we don't know. And then he came up with like three different ideas of things that people are looking at in the scientific world. One of them is a superconducting magnet.
Hmm.
So they would
Mm.
put superconducting coils together in the spacecraft in order to make a magnetic like bubble. And I'm gonna tell you, Jennifer, in my head, I kept saying, "Ooh, that's so Star Trek." I'm
It
just,
is
I'm thinking
very
it's
Star
like the,
Trek.
the ride that goes around and you get stuck
Yeah.
to the
yep.
walls.
Yep, I know. So here, I guess one of the things I was reading about is like what materials really can shield you. And I found it quite
Yeah.
like, um, I don't know, I was shocked a little bit about this because one of the best things that you can use to shield you from these rays is plastic.
Ooh,
Hmm.
we should gather all the plastic from the world and make it into a superconductor and send it out in space with them.
Yeah, I know.
We have
I
Yeah.
way
think
too
that's
much
a good
plastic
idea.
now.
Make their thing
I
out of
know.
plastic. They'll be just set or
I was
lined
It's
with
like,
gonna be
really?
plastic.
So they're like, yeah, they've been looking at NASA apparently has been like looking at maybe using like instead of aluminum because that's the other one that's
aluminum. I
like,
read that one too. Yeah.
yeah, but they were looking at like discussing like maybe you could make the spaceship plastic.
Or at least a
It'd be
Interesting.
portion of
lighter.
it, you
It
know.
definitely would be lighter.
The problem with
Well,
plastic, unless you can get, just as somebody who's done a lot of research on materials, the issue with plastic is that the level of degradation by heat is an issue. So
I wonder though,
getting a
here's
plastic,
the thing.
yeah, that can handle, heat from sun or from other things would be really important.
Well, I wonder if one of the magnetic things could help that in order to, because like I said, the other one was the mini magnetic spheres, which was
Hmm.
plasma based. But I'm like, how would you? I'm not sure how that would work. Are you going to genetically somehow produce the plasma like here on Earth? I was if any of you out there know this, please answer that question. I'm not quite sure where they're going to get the plasma from. And then the last one was the electrostatic shields.
Hmm.
And when
So
I
that
was
you're gonna
hearing about
roll
that,
around on a carpet and
I thought too,
and shock people.
everybody,
That's
I don't know.
crazy.
But that's what they were talking about. And I mean, basically, obviously, but if you're talking about the plastic though, if they put the plastic together and they had electrostatic shields, wouldn't you be okay? Because it doesn't really, I wouldn't think static would go through the plastic.
You know, I keep going back
Ideas.
to the concept that I, I feel like we don't know enough about these to really know for sure. Like, I mean, we have all these theories, but eh, we
Again,
don't
they're
really know.
theory.
They're
They're
theories,
theories.
yeah. Like we don't even know where they come from. I mean, there are some people that speculate that these might be messages.
I have a
Oh,
good graphic if you want me to show it
Yeah,
that kind of
sure, I'll
shows
stop sharing.
the different materials and that radiation. So let
Well,
me
while you're bringing that up, the whole thing that Jennifer that you were talking about,
uh-huh.
that's one of the things I read was about these being like messages or messengers from deep space,
yeah.
like things that we may not totally understand, because obviously they're from millions of years and miles away, because it takes a long time to get there. So, and they're high energy particles. Is there something we're missing that we don't fully understand? Does that make sense? I mean,
Hmm.
is there something that we're not sure or understand, you know, and that sort of thing. And so, oh, that's a nice graphic there. I had
Yeah,
to learn
Yeah.
about I had to learn about that with eighth graders one year.
yeah, just
I was
kind of
like,
seeing the different type of rays. And I think that the cosmic rays are in I believe if I remember what I read was correct, is in the gamma rays.
yes.
So obviously you can see how they kind of go through different they can go through different materials.
I thought it was like more towards the
Neuron?
the neutron
Oh,
rays.
sorry.
It's
Neutron
close to the
rays.
neutron rays
Yeah.
because it goes through a lot of stuff because it's on
Because
a
yeah,
what is it, it's like super particle, like extremely
they're
small high
highly
energy
high
particles.
energy particles. Yeah. So, and depending on what they are, they believe that they're protons and neutrons. If I are they're not neutron protons and neutrons. I guess that's some new.
Proton and ions. is what they think
Ions.
they are.
Hmm.
And they're constant in the background, and they're the hardest to shield against for human beings, is what they're saying.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, but that's what they think. But they're basically, I mean, again, the biggest thing is that they're high energy particles, which really, I mean, if you think of something that's got such a high energy, and it would be interesting if we could somehow harness the energy of these things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That might be
Something to
like,
think
can you
about.
imagine the power? And again, you've got like I said, they estimate 50 million a day hit the earth.
Right. I
That's like a
actually,
lot.
I found someone who's doing research right now about cosmic rays that are actually getting through our atmospheres and how much are making it to, like, I guess, the surface of Earth. His name is Dr. He. And I'll go ahead and I'll show you that really quick too. So he's doing research. This is on Georgia State Universities. So he's been doing research in specifically about a detector that can measure these cosmic rays and kind of how they're impacting and changing our climate, how they're impacting people. So I just happened to read through some of this too. It's an interview, so I'm not going to stop, but I'll go through. But he's basically these detectors he has been putting around the world to be able to get some data on how much of these cosmic rays are coming on Earth. So,
Well, and
Hmm.
how far north and south does he go? Because one of the things I read was that in the North Pole and the South Pole is where the majority of them come through, because the magnetic pull is not as um,
Strong.
strong, as in the equator area of the
I'm
world.
Which is why you can see like the
find the areas that he was
yeah,
saying.
When they
Going.
were
the
talking
polar
about
lights and everything.
the what are those lights called, Angie?
A
The
bore
the
Oh,
air
Borella,
yeah,
yeah.
Boreala lights. They
Borealis.
were
Yeah.
Yeah.
saying that those were
Northern
good.
lights is the easier
They're
way to
thinking
say
that
it.
those are connected to these subatomic
Which is what I was thinking.
particles.
Yeah, which is what I was
Hmm.
thinking, that those are the particles basically interacting with our magnetic field.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't remember. Oh, here we go. So he's got two detectors in Sri Lanka, one in Singapore, one in Colombia, outside of the US. They also have ones in California, New Mexico. They're planning to put two more in Africa, one in Serbia. And he would like to install them in every country in the world so that they can start collecting all this data. And these things are not expensive either. They're very low cost.
Oh,
So
nice.
we're not
That's
talking,
You
even
know,
better.
you know, we're not talking something that costs hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to create in place. These are not that expensive at all. They're like, we're talking less than $1,000 for these objects.
it's
And
Wow,
what,
that's
interesting
pretty.
yeah.
because these remind me. Okay, so one of the other things I looked at was like the Mars rover. They have
Yeah.
a they have on top of the Mars rover, they have I think they called it a radar, like RAD raid, right? And what it does is it was there to detect, similar to what you were showing, Angie,
Mhm.
to detect those cosmic rays that were coming off of the sun from because our sun produces some of that, right?
Right.
And so, that looks a lot like the little circle thing they have on top of that, that it collected all kinds of information about the, cosmic rays that are produced from the sun.
Hmm.
Yes. Well, and it's interesting that he's collecting that kind of data, because this is the other part. If you can figure, again, it comes back to that whole idea of, obviously this has an impact on our magnetic field, which what uh, aurora borealis lights are part of that. That is the interaction of the cosmic rays with the atmosphere. And then the other part is that, how is it impacting human bodies? Because again, if the idea
Yeah.
is that we want to go to deep space and we want to be out in deep space for obviously a longer period of time, we're talking years, or we want to, let's just say that we decide we want to build, space living quarters out there somewhere,
Even if it's on the
Mars or
moon,
whatever,
right?
even if it's on the moon, we will have to be able to tackle this because it obviously changes your DNA when it goes through you. Um, and they're not even sure to what degree it does. Is it truly harmful? Is it not truly harmful? Is it there? I mean, obviously it's changing our DNA. So
I'll
to what
just say
degree is
that
it changing it?
NASA, I was watching something. Now, this is older. I think it said it
Okay.
was like from 11 years ago. NASA did funded some testing on mice and like what the impact was of being exposed to that type of ray, right? And
Right.
because they basically simulated it and exposed the mice to it. And what they found out is it basically kind of destroys your ability to think.
Mhm.
So, like, you know how mice they'll run like you can teach them like a path, right?
Right.
Yes.
After they had been exposed to not very much of this, they began to slow down and get lost and not be able to figure out like the path that they had previously been able to figure out and go through without any issue, right?
Mm,
And then further along, they couldn't even find they couldn't even they just stopped wanting to even travel any path at all. Like, I mean, they're
that's
saying that
pretty
like
alarming.
neurologically it damages them and
And maybe
it
that has to do with our longevity of our lives too. Is that, again, you may not be getting a lot of these cosmic rays, but you're still interacting with various types of radiation every day that you're alive on this earth.
that is true.
Those could be things that are depending on where you live, if there's more or less. So it'll be interesting to see what Professor He finds out about areas of the earth that may have more or less. And is
Yeah.
that affecting the people that are living there?
Yeah,
Right.
like is there any correlation with cancer or I don't know, stupid people
Or
that have low
cognitive
IQs? I
issues,
don't
Well,
right?
know.
maybe that is really trying to really tell us about why people drive as bad as they do right now.
It
Yeah,
Just saying.
could be
maybe.
Just
cosmic
saying.
rays.
It's
Well,
Somebody
cosmic rays
else
making
one
it.
of
that
the
I
things
thought,
that NASA
sorry.
was really, that's okay. One of the things that NASA was really concerned about and why they did that testing was because obviously we send some people to space that have some of the highest IQs in the world because they have to do so many things and be so many things and think on their feet and
Right.
I don't know, do
They have to
surgery when
solve
they're
Right.
problems. They have to
not a
solve
doctor.
problems to make sure they don't die up there.
Right.
Exactly. And
They have to
so
be
they were
cognitively aware and calm at
mhm.
all times.
And so the whole concept of them not being able to like this would impact their ability to think is like a major like issue.
Mm.
Mm,
So
Something I
interesting.
was going to say is if you are interested in kind of learning about the solar activity that is hitting our Earth or geophysical, like energetic events that are taking place, there's a YouTuber, his name is Stefan Burns. I've watched him several times because he tends to kind of talk about these like events that are taking place, especially things like solar flares and and especially recently because we have had a lot of solar flares recently, like extreme solar flares hitting Earth. And with that, it can impact like things like volcanoes and earthquakes, which I think it was yesterday, there was an earthquake down in Mexico that was like a 7.3. So he tends to
Interesting.
talk about a lot of this stuff, and I find it interesting. So I'm not saying I watch it all the time, but I do like to check in and when I see stuff and look at his work, because I think he does a really great job of kind of breaking down and showing really good like visuals to help you
Right.
understand what's going on. So if you get a chance, you
Mhm.
guys should check him out.
Well,
Stefan
if
Yeah.
Berg.
you remind me, I'll and send me the link. I'll put it in the stuff down with our description
And
so
his
that
name's
our
yeah,
can kind of look it up and do that.
Stefan. So
Stefan.
he's a
But
nice kid.
Stefan.
well, and like I said, it's interesting that they did that kind of research because and I think what you're talking about with Dr. He, it'll be really interesting to see what he comes up with because obviously we're fairly protected to a certain degree, but the question is how protected are we? And I mean, again, once you get out into deep space, which is beyond our magnetic field, um, you're way more exposed to these. And so, what's that going to look like? How's that going to, impact? And what can we do in order to protect ourselves to be able to go into deep space and that sort of thing? Like I said, there obviously is a lot of scientists working on this, and there's a lot of theories out there, to try to kind of figure those things out. But I think the cool thing is that we've got a lot of them, and I think it's the other cool thing is eventually it would be interesting, Jen, if they could eventually like if there was some way that if we think they are messengers of some sort,
Hmm.
what's the message that's being sent to us? Are these particles, because like you said, they're not totally sure where they come from, but if they come from a black hole, where does
Hmm.
the black hole,
How are they escaping? Number one.
where's the other side of the black hole? Where's it at? Because obviously
Yeah.
most of these are not from our um the Milky Way, which is our universe, our
Galaxy.
galaxy. And so if they're not from our galaxy, what galaxy are they from and what are they bringing? You
And
Yeah.
know?
who knows?
Well,
Yeah.
again, I guess back to our original question. So the photographs and things that we've seen, to me, they seem a lot like these cosmic rays. And
Yeah.
so, like, if we can't really even, like, we don't know what they are, you can only see them in certain circumstances. Um, I just think it calls into question, like, how, I guess back to Angie's original question from last week about whether this was, this dump of information was just a distraction, or is there really legitimate stuff being disclosed here? I think that just ties into it and makes me question more, like, I mean, do they know they're just giving us some pictures of cosmic rays?
Yeah.
You know?
But it's
I don't know.
interesting that there was a lot of these seen when these drones were, you know? And again, we were told we don't know what these are. And then it's like we know what these are, but we're not talking about it. I don't know. I mean, I guess so, and but there was a lot of these light anomalies. That's what we'll call them, light anomalies.
Light anomalies, okay.
Yeah, so I
So I
just
guess from the
question, yeah.
audience, it would be interesting if anybody has an opinion about it,
I mean, do you think those are
share it
cosmic
in the
rays?
comments. Yeah, exactly. Could they be cosmic rays? I think they definitely could be cosmic rays.
I mean, I see videos all the time because you know me, I love to watch the unknown and and
There could
just
be, but
I'm just curious. I have a curious mind, so I want to watch stuff like that because I want to learn more and even just see this stuff. So I've seen a lot of videos that are showing these light anomalies on mountains specifically, which obviously a mountain's going to be a lot higher than if you're down at sea level, you know, or below sea
True.
level. hear it,
Yeah, I
especially.
mean, but I mean,
Well,
here's the thing. Some of them don't look like like some of those cosmic rays. Some look different than those. So I'm not
Well,
so sure that all of them are could be cosmic rays. I think they look a little different and that sort of stuff. But let me share another article and see what you guys think about this article because
build
I
on.
think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, there we go. All right, what are we seeing? Anything yet?
It's not yet.
it says you started screen sharing.
You are viewing Steffi's screen.
Mm,
There it
No,
is.
there we go. Okay, so we can
now, do you see what the
see
article?
Oops, now you got a
we
couple. You
see
got
a note
Medicare
taker.
Hold
drug
on.
price.
It always wants to show you guys way more than it should. And if I can get up here and get it out of the way, I will. Hold on. Because now it's
Yeah,
got
just
this
put
thing
the
and
little down button, the little,
you ready? All right, one more. Just for good measure. There it is. Do you see it now?
okay, bit
Yeah,
flips.
Bit flip. How rays grounded a fleet of aircraft.
Hmm.
this is
And this
probably
was in
related
December
to how
2025.
it thinks.
Hmm.
So they said
And
that one of the ultra high energy rays comes through, even when it comes through the atmosphere. Like they're really rare. They're very hard to like they hardly ever see them, but when they do, it's like it shoots a missile into the computer or the mechanics. So it
well,
makes
that's
me
what this
wonder.
article is talking about. Because here's the thing, what this article is talking about is that they had radiation from the space that led to more than 6,000 aircraft needing emergency computer updates. And this could become a growing problem as ever more microchips run our lives. So these cosmic rays, if they get through, according to what they're seeing, it could basically disrupt or even wipe out cell
Yep.
phones, aircrafts, technology,
Yeah.
satellite. And
I also
so
think
that's
about
interesting.
like, the concept of we're, we're seeing our magnetic north moving. We know that we at some point, and it could take a long time, but there will be a flip from north to south. Magnetic north will move to magnetic south. Obviously, it hasn't happened in a really long time, and they estimate every 144,000 years that flips. So, question is, as our magnetic, you know, field is, changing, is it becoming less of a shield? Are there times that it's bleeping in certain spots as that change takes place? Which, I mean, I don't know the exact amount of time, if it's 100 years or 1,000 years for that flip to take place, or if it's
I don't
pretty
think anybody knows
faster.
really.
Yeah, I mean,
They
well,
don't
I mean,
even
they
know if
do know
that's
to a
really going
certain
to
extent
happen.
because they can see it in the floor of the ocean. So they can see that switch back and forth, in our magnetic north and south. So, but I'm wondering, with all these things taking place, is that something, we need to spend more time? And then they start talking about this. And again, this is me being conspiracy Sydney. um they want to put this shield over
Conspiracy,
our
Sydney.
country, a gold shield. Interesting, gold shield.
Is that a Trump thing? Because it's gold.
It
I'm
is
just
No,
it
curious.
is, but I don't think it's just him. I think this is a security thing. I
I mean,
know
I've
they're
long
talking
felt
about
that like we
missiles
need
and
to figure
things.
out how to shield the earth. You know?
Yeah,
you know
it's
what's interesting,
I'm like, why
Coach?
aren't
I
we
think I read
focusing
something
on
about
this?
gold, though. I read something about gold being one of those metals that they could use for the cosmic rays.
I
Somewhere in one of
wouldn't
the
be
articles I read.
surprised. Gold is special. But you know, it's just very interesting that there's this push. I mean, obviously, the push is we need it for safety from missiles, but I'm wondering if there's more
Yeah.
to this. I mean, we're talking a major price tag to do
We're
this.
and I mean, linking back to what we were talking about last time we had a conversation about the alien stuff. If we
Yeah.
think about this, you know, there's obviously way more that the government knows that is had some's been declassified, but a lot of it's still classified. I mean, who knows? And she might be right about that. Maybe there's way more that they know about these cosmic rays and about our magnetic fields that we're not aware of at this point, particularly. I don't
Well, I
know.
mean, they've talked a lot about the ozone and how, in the up in the Alaskan area, how, that is getting thinner and it's allowing more to come through. I'm just trying to, put together, various things that I'm hearing and, and again, that correlation may mean nothing. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. But is some of that. I mean, I know they talk a lot about climate. Well, our climate changes. Whether you believe climate change is our problem or just our earth changing because it does that, um, you know, it's just interesting to me that in our lifetime, we're going through this time where they've talked a lot about this, opening that's happening up near the, you know, the area up by,
The North Pole and South Pole.
yeah, kind of the northern hemisphere,
Yeah.
where they're seeing more of the, you know, the lights and the northern lights and things like that, which we know is an interaction with our ozone layer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are these particles, are they more coming through, because of the change to our magnetic field? And
Yeah.
again, I mean, I don't know the answer. I'm just putting thoughts out there. But obviously we have a lot to learn, and Dr. He's uh, his work will be important to see how much. I mean, again, it's not something that's been tracked for very long, even in the locations where he's put these detectors, but definitely would be interesting in 5-10 years to see the evolution of that data and how much cosmic rays are coming through. Not only that, but looking at how, because obviously our magnetic north has been moving quite a bit and has been picking up speed. So are we going to live during a time when this flip's going to happen? Is it going to happen before
That's
we
a
go?
good
I don't
question.
know.
That is a good question that I don't know if it could be answered.
you
But I
know
will tell you, Angie, I looked up some of that just so that we'd have a little bit of reference on obviously the geomagnetic reversal is what that's called, the process
Okay.
where magnetic
Uh-huh.
field orientation changes. And historical data shows that these reversals have happened irregularly. They
Yeah.
approximately happen every 200 to 300,000 years, although the last major reversal occurred 780,000 years ago.
Yeah, isn't
So
that
I would
bizarre?
say we're overdue for it.
Mhm.
Exactly.
It's kind of
That's,
like when the volcanoes are going to blow.
I don't know
you
where I
know
got
what?
144 from. Must be
But
something
you know
else.
what's crazy about it is if you think about that though, Ange, um, if obviously for a stint of time, because we believe obviously the Earth is like millions of years old. That's
Right.
scientifically
Millions.
they
It's
believe.
billions of
Well,
years old.
billions of years old. Well, if that's true, and they're saying it happened approximately every 200 to 300,000 years for a while, up until obviously this last major
Which
change,
is like 700,000. It's way overdue.
780,000 years, it's way overdue. What kind of things happened during that time with these cosmic rays? Because obviously they this has been going on. I mean, you're talking about particles that
For a
traveled
long
millions of
time.
Is there
yeah, millions
somebody
of
playing
miles
with
and
our
millions.
Earth? Let's see.
Well, and it
Well,
begs
Is
a lot
there
of questions.
somebody messing with it?
Well, and there are people who believe that the life on Earth, like all the things that are here, that are organic, was not here when Earth was actually originally born,
Yeah.
and it actually is from outer space.
Right, the Pangea, is that what it Pangea? Is that right?
Pangea
Um,
is the original, yeah, all
but
all
there's
land
one
together.
that's like a pan theory that's basically things have come into our atmosphere on things like meteorites or other that have panspermia. That's what it is, where it is seeded the earth.
seriously, panspermia. Is that
Yeah, it's
what you
like
said?
seeding of the earth
Like
from
like
the space.
sperm. I just want to make
Yeah, it's
sure,
like
like
sperm.
sperm. Of
Yeah,
course,
Yeah.
a guy came up with that, right? It's not
I don't know who came up with it, but
panegia, it's panspermia.
I don't, again, that may not be an absolute, you know, and help us if you want, if you're a scientist out there.
Tell us if
We
we're
are not we are
wrong.
not scientists. We just think science is interesting. But but yeah, it has to do with basically, elements from off of our earth, seeding this earth. So, there is a theory. It is a theory. Obviously, some people, don't subscribe to that, but there's
Yeah.
some people
Mm,
who believe that, and some that feel that there's not enough evidence, and so on and so on. But
Well,
you
there's
know
probably not enough evidence, but
if all this
I
stuff's
feel
coming in,
like there's a
are
ton of
coming
stuff
in.
there's not enough evidence for.
I thought you were
well,
going somewhere totally different with that, but
Oh, what, the
and I think,
panspermia?
no,
yeah,
prior, like not that, but something else. But I'll
Okay.
leave it at that.
but you
Let it
know,
go. Let it
I think
go.
that that's an interesting theory, though, that you know the idea that obviously that through this panspermia idea, this theory that all living things on Earth actually came from someplace other than Earth, and Earth
Well, and
was
I
just
think
a
I think,
hospitable place to have it.
well,
Yeah,
yeah. And I
panspermia.
think
Yeah.
in the concept, like things came to Earth that were like microbial, and
Yes.
Yes,
then they,
Mhm.
like a big melting pot, right?
Right.
You
So
had a bunch of
basically,
stuff and it grew
microscopic
into other
life
things.
forms basically
right.
were transported through space by cosmic dust, meteoroids, asteroids, and
Mhm.
comets. And as they impacted Earth over time, that they basically brought life to
I'm
Earth. And it
sorry.
is
I had
panspermia,
a funny thought. I think the cosmic rays are the special sauce.
the special sauce. It maybe that's what CERN's all about. They're trying to figure out life.
Oh,
They're
it's the
sending us
special
Little
sauce.
messages
cosmic
through their special
rays,
sauce.
some
Yes.
various other stuff.
Oh.
I
Well,
know.
you're
There's a lot we need to
it's a
learn.
mixing
I don't
pot.
know.
I don't know.
The
It
physicists
is a
out there
mixing
like
pot.
shaking their heads like God help
I
us.
know. Like, oh my God, these chicks are ding dongs. So
We know a
Look,
little. I took
I
I
learned a
took
lot.
some science
I've learned a
classes.
lot too. I now know what a cosmic ray is. Check. And I now
Check.
know that it might not be that far fetched to think that some of the things that they're releasing could be like images of some sort of cosmic ray, right?
Check. Yep.
I know that definitely cosmic rays can cause health issues, and
Yep.
they could potentially like harm society by, you know, ruining, cell phones and taking
Or
down planes and things like that. So I have learned a lot.
mm,
Well, and here's the thing. The cool thing that I think I learned, and see, this is the difference between Jennifer and me. Jennifer tells you all the horrible things that this crap's doing. I'm going to tell you the wonderful things I learned. I learned that we live on a world that is absolutely fascinating and amazing at the same time because, the idea that we have a magnetic field around the Earth
Hmm.
that protects us from these cosmic rays for the most part and from the solar flares for the most part is absolutely amazing to me. And to think that we have some sort of plasma that's in the center of our Earth that helps generate this is just
Crazy,
really
right?
well, they don't
it
really
is a
know what's at the
mind-blowing
center
thing.
of the earth, but they
It,
have theories on that as well. They're not really
They
sure.
know,
We know it's some
well,
type
but they
of,
know there's magma, right? They know there's magma there.
I don't know if they absolutely know that. I mean, I think they
Hmm.
theorize that based on the information that they have, but it's not an absolute because we haven't been able to
Nobody's ever
go more
drilled to
than
the center of the world.
several miles down
That
in the
must have
Nobody's
been
ever
earth.
a,
driven there, really. I think they
oh,
should
come
give us a
on.
roadmap so we can go down
I
and check it
forget what's
out.
the what I forget what the because I
What's
heard
the
this on
show?
something. The how deep have they been able the deepest
Yeah, I'm curious.
hole in the world? What's the
Well,
deepest
and I think
hole?
that'd be really hard too, because I mean, human beings, obviously we can't go,
7.6 miles.
that's
Real,
it?
that's the deepest hole, but have they, what, how far have they drilled?
Um, hold on. What is
I
the
would think it's got to be
deepest?
more than 7 miles, but I mean,
Um,
because I'm just thinking like, I mean, I don't know. You can't even get to the bottom of the ocean.
the
No.
deepest
So,
drilled hole, we're talking again, is 7.6 miles. It's the
hmm,
one that's in
7.6 miles.
Russia.
huh, that does
Yeah,
not seem very
Why
Russia.
is
deep.
Russia going that deep is the question I
I think
have.
they were trying, I mean,
They have to go
obviously,
through the snow,
the inner core, they don't really know that much even about the mantle, the outer core or the inner core. They have, working theories. They believe it's turning, and that can
which
be
is causing the
disrupt and
magnetic
change.
field, right?
But I mean, again, we don't know for certain because we never gone there.
Yeah. I must have
That's
been a
just
movie I watched, The Center of the
that
Earth.
was a movie you
Oh yeah.
watched to the center of the earth.
Is that one of those scary movies or it's just drama?
No, it's
More
just
drama, but they didn't they have like dinosaurs or something on the other side or
yeah,
Oh, is
I'm
this
pretty
one of
sure they
those
had
kind of
dinosaurs.
movies? Oh,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
yeah.
pretty sure there were dinosaurs.
I don't think
And they
we're
were
gonna go
trying to
to the
eat
middle
them
of the
and
earth.
Journey
yeah.
to the Center of the Earth. Yeah, it sounds like something
That's
Will
an old
Ferrell would
it's an
be
old
in.
movie.
Yeah, they've redone it since then, they are always redoing movies, but I mean, I
Sure.
think here's what I'm gathering. We need more information and we need
Cowbell?
more experiments and we need more research of things we just don't really understand still.
Yeah, I agree
Well,
You
with
know,
that.
whether
money's
it
got to go
be
other places, Steffi.
the
So sorry.
alien stuff or it'll be, the panspermia or the cosmic rays or, you know,
If people
whatever's at
just
the
stop
center of the
fighting, we'd
earth.
have enough money to do some real research. Stop
No,
wasting our money on stupid crap, fighting over
like I said,
shit.
it just sounds super
Mhm.
interesting that there's a lot of things that, um, that we still don't know. But I will say that here's what I'm going to say. I think that our imaginations are there, and when I say that, I mean I think about like Star Wars, Star Trek. I think about intergalactic. Stargate, all these different like shows, books that we're
You mean
constantly
Stargate?
writing about what we don't know. Yeah, Stargate. Things that we don't understand that we're theorizing show up in our sci-fi that we're writing about every day. And some of the sci-fi of the 1950s we know has come true. Like cell phones were not a part of our vernacular,
Yeah.
but it's now there and
Even
they could,
computers.
even computers. And so at what point will our science catch up with our imaginations?
I don't know. I keep wondering what point will our imaginations grow? Because I feel like people have the same ideas and the same shows over and over and over again, and they don't really come up with anything new.
And when they do, it's phenomenal though. I could think of a
That
few
is
off the
true.
top of my head that was like, that's mind blowing, but we
Yeah,
need more thought like that. And that takes free
definitely.
thought as much as possible, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
all right, Jen, wrap it up, girlfriend.
Okay, so just to wrap it up, I will say that cosmic rays are definitely something people should know about and understand if you want to talk about UFOs or UPAs. I don't think I'll ever get used to UPAs.
UAPs.
It just doesn't come off the tongue.
Mm-mm.
But anyway, I think it's definitely something that we should know.
Because they're UAPs.
UAPs. Yeah. Is that what I said? I said UFOs or UFPs? No, UAPs. UAPs. Right?
UAPs. UAPs.
UAPs. It's like
UAP.
U8 pieces.
Unidentified aerial
Aerial
phenomena.
phenomenon. I know.
UAPs.
It just sounds like, I don't know. It just doesn't sound right. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I mean, I just to wrap it up, I mean, there's so many things in the world we don't know. So, it's important to take a step back and really look at what do we absolutely know, what is a fact, and what is a belief. You can have stronger beliefs or more, beliefs that are more based in facts than
Or evidence
others. More, yes, that are
or
based on
data.
evidence or data. But I mean, there's just so much we don't know. So, super interesting topic.
Yep.
We'd appreciate it if you would subscribe, uh, hit the like
Like or
button.
share.
It gets our program out there. If you have any comments or you have things that you think we should be thinking about or talking about, we're always interested in hearing your opinions on that. Like I said, we are trying to talk about topics of the day that are interesting and can really drive, free thought and expand our minds. Thank you for joining us and have a nice evening or day, depending on where you're at.
Have a good one.
Bye.